Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
So you see, this thing is also now the third time that we're seeing this. So
Yes.
Lance is talking about this. Here we have just spoken about Guido von List saying, you know, it's the fifth element. It's the thing that makes everything possible. So harnessing ether, harnessing the serpent. And we know, you know, serpent is a form of jinn. No, sorry, there's a form of jinn that are serpents. Okay. And then we had back when we were speaking about Blavatsky, she had this thing called Forhat. God's instrument is Forhat. And Forhat, I don't remember Forhat is a generic term used in many senses. It highlights the whatever of all the three logo personified symbols, blah blah blah. Forhat is the aggregate of all spiritual creative ideations above and the electrodynamic and creative forces below in heaven and on earth. All right, this is what Blavatsky says in one of her writings. So once again, it's this energies that are all around us and that these guys are trying to harness. And what do you get from that? You get Uncle Adolf sitting with the doggy.
Wow, man, this is so crazy, man. This is so crazy. Oh my gosh, man. Wow.
So let us read what some have said about von List, Liebenfeld, sorry, not List. So within a year, Lanz published his fundamental statement of doctrine in its very title Theologie oder die Kunde der von den Sodoms, Afflingen und dem Götterelektron. Theology and the lore of the Sodom Aplings and the electron of the gods. Distills the Gnostic essence of Lanz's thought. It was a strange amalgam of religious belief drawn from the traditional Judeo-Christian sources, yet modified in light of new life sciences, hence theozoology. The book repeated the basic hypothesis of the earlier article within and expanded a scheme of biblical interpretation spanning from both testaments. The first section sought to understand the origin of the nature of the pygmies. So the pygmies, all right, so let's go on. 4 chapters entitled Gaia, Earth, Pygmy, Water, Fire, and Aether, Air, describe the satanic realm by relating the story of the first pygmy called Adam.
Oh my goodness. Wow, man.
Who spawned the race of the beast men, Anthropozoa.
Wow, man. That is
So wait, let me just translate this stuff. So this dude is telling you that you have this good Aryan white folks that are God people, and then you have these apelings. Then these are, you know, the vile beast men. And where do these apelings come from? Adam alayhi salam.
wow, man. That is crazy. And
So as I said, yeah.
And these are supposed to be like right here. There are like this particular issue right here. That you'll find like certain cults, they believe this type of thing, right? Or
Brother, the clearest proof that these guys were serious about this is what we have, you know, spoken about briefly in our previous live. And it's this thing right here. It's the Lebensborn. So Lebensborn in German, it means the well of life. And it's those covenant kind of places that were run by the SS, where they would source these fine white ladies.
Yep.
And the SS officer would come, and you see how, you know, you had gardens. So you had like, it was fully equipped with, you know, maternity kind of hospital equipment for giving birth, etc.
Yes.
And, you know, you had these ladies in these bedrooms. And the SS officer would come there, and the lady would get pregnant. Details on this you can find in biology books.
Real life Handmaid's Tale.
Absolutely.
A real life
and this shows you how serious they were about this belief right here, that the redemption of the Aryan race would be through the purifying of the race through extreme eugenics. Then also Lanz is famous for this publication right here, Ostara. So Ostara was a periodical, it was a magazine that was launched before World War I. I do not know when it stopped, but basically this whole ideology was laid out bit by bit for the masses in this magazine right here. Here you have another publication of Ostara, where you see, you know, the crusader about to smash the apeling right here.
Yeah.
All right, so you
Hold
have
on.
here, you have the Aryan.
Don't move it yet. Just 1 second. I'm gonna try to switch it. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Right, so here you have the you know, the Aryan white man, you know, and the crusader smashing the apeling.
Yes.
So that was the Aqidah with the dynamic that was being laid out.
Yes.
So number one, you have the belief system, and number two, he is telling you the action that is required by this belief system is to eliminate all the sub races for the Aryans to prosper as a root race on Earth again.
And this right here, because we did talk about eugenics on the channel like more than once, obviously, right? And we mentioned that this eugenics in itself is a white supremacist ideology, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
it is
The whole
one
point
of the main results.
Yeah. Is
On the
for
one hand, you have the concentration camps, and on the other hand, you have eugenics.
yes,
It's
right.
eugenics for the white folks, and it's concentration camps for everybody else.
Yes. But now we have like a very direct link to the esoteric and you could say like the occult aspect of that belief into the actual politics and whatchamacallit, carrying out the ideas of eugenics into the wider society, right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it continues up until this day because a lot of the lingo and the politics is hasn't really changed that much, right? So you'll find, for example, in the US, right, where they talk about a thing called great replacement theory, right? The great
Yeah.
replacement
Yeah.
where all where white man is being replaced by these immigrants and whatnot, and so we have to protect our white lineage and whatnot, and they won't say white, but they'll use language to kind of hide behind what they mean. They say Americans, and so
Yeah.
white, but they mean by Americans, they mean white folk. That's what they mean, right? So because the population of white folks is now, it's not increasing, it's completely like steadfast, and in some places is dwindling because white people are the ones who brought this eugenics theory. White people are the ones who brought keep your family small, and now they're seeing the consequences of all that, and they're blaming immigrants, right? But I
Absolutely.
I digress.
Absolutely.
But
And you know what you're talking about, Bilal,
mm,
as I had alluded here, but with Guido von List,
mm,
he was talking about this as well, and he actually wrote a book about this called Sexual Religion.
mm.
So it is exactly what you're saying, like white folks gotta reproduce.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I didn't read the book, nor do I have any intention of doing so.
Mhm.
But like from what I read about the book, it's all about, you gotta get it going on.
Yeah.
And
And then you have people today repeating the exact same talking points that eugenicists have said, like this white people, like for example, Nick Fuentes, who again was being pushed and popularized by certain Muslim personalities like Daniel Haqiqatjou,
absolutely.
who overtly said, yes, you should listen to people like Nick Fuentes, who always repeats white people need to have more babies.
Yeah.
Right? He's always repeating that, right? And nobody's stopping white people from reproducing except for
themselves.
Except for themselves, right? They're the ones who accept.
Exactly.
They're the ones who push the eugenics program, trying to weaponize it against other races, but then accepted it as a part of their culture, and now they're seeing what it's doing and blaming the other races for what they accepted.
Absolutely. Look,
You
in Luxembourg, the average number of children
Mm.
is 1.2 per couple.
Yeah.
1.2. Oh my days, Yahi.
Yeah. I mean, they did this in, remember Mao, who studied a lot of this eugenic stuff and communism and whatnot. When he became what is they called, grand leader? I can't remember what they call him in China there, right? But
The chairman Mao.
Yeah, Chairman Mao. Yeah, right. So one of the first things he did is he started slaughtering his own people, like en masse, implemented this one-child policy, right? And now, 50 years later, the Chinese have a population where it's all seniors, and the younger population cannot take care of their parents, and they're becoming seniors, right? The younger population turning into seniors themselves, and it's like so now they want to try to pay their people to have children now, and people themselves, they don't want to have kids because they're seeing how the country's being run, right? But I digress. The whole point is that the devilish, occultish element to this, right, is so deep, man. Like, this is crazy stuff, man. And on the surface, it looks devilish, but to make that connection between this type of occultish behavior, that's crazy. Bro. Crazy. Sorry about that. That's a long rant, but
no, but I'm we're gonna have to have a third episode if you're up for it, Bilal. Because
let's do it, man. Let's do it, man. Like, this is so this is crazy. I'm gonna put the link in the chat if anybody has any questions.
And I want to say about good old Haqiqaju and his his thing that when you remember, Bilal, like you sent me his tweet. I changed phones, so I don't have this old part of our conversation anymore. Where he's saying, this is the list of white supremacists that Muslims can listen to. Yeah. And then somebody challenged him.
They don't say white supremacists anymore. They always hide behind language. So now, because they know white supremacist is very, at least a bad taste, right? They say
it's aggressive.
Or
far right. Yes, far right. As a matter of fact, that is the politically correct cover for this particular thing.
Paper gold. You see, black folks are chumps. If America were to tell you to bring all the rocks in this country to her, and she'll give you $1 million for it, you'll do it. And the next day she'll tell you we're using rocks for currencies, chump.